Hello, friends. Bringing you today is a book review of Becoming by Michelle Obama. Part 1, Becoming Me. Chapter 1. Michelle's story begins in late 1960s Chicago in a South Shore bungalow. Her parents, Fraser and Marion Robinson, rent a cramped upstairs apartment from Marion's Aunt Robbie and Uncle Terry, who live downstairs. Terry, a retired railway porter, is always well-dressed and never says much. Robbie teaches piano in her room, with a stern, demanding teaching style. Michelle's older brother Craig takes lessons, and when Michelle is about 4, she wants lessons too. Their family is full of music lovers, especially on Michelle's mother's side. People like grandfather Shield, Robbie's younger brother, who likes to play album on his elaborate stereo system. His nickname became Southside when he moved into the neighborhood near Michelle's family. He will later buy Michelle her first album, Stevie Wonder's Talking Book. The chipped middle key on Robbie's piano makes it easier for Michelle to find her way on the keyboard. Because she works hard, she improves rapidly. But she and Robbie start to clash when Michelle insisted on playing harder songs than Robbie thinks she's ready for. Michelle's parents find the conflict amusing. The day comes when Michelle must perform at the annual recital Robbie puts on for all her students. Michelle's father drives the family to the downtown venue in his beloved Buick Electra. He parks as close to the entrance as possible, as has been his habit ever since he began having trouble walking and was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Once seated at the pristine keyboard of the baby grand piano outstage, Michelle cannot find middle C, but after Robbie quietly placed her finger in the right position, Michelle is on her way. Chapter 2. When Michelle starts school, she's eager to succeed, and her mother is strongly supportive. After Michelle complains about her boring, unruly second-grade class, her mother gets Michelle and several other gifted students moved up into a better-run third-grade class. In other areas of life, however, Craig is a gifted one. He is a talented basketball player and has an easy time making friends, whereas Michelle is less sociable and prefers to stay at home. At age 10, she does manage to earn a mean girl's respect by going after the girl with her fists. In the 1970s, white families and well-off black families are leaving the South Shore. Michelle's parents stay. Although her father never finished community college, he has a sturdy job at a water filtration plant that allows the family to afford a new modest luxuries. Every year, the Robinsons, plus an aunt and 2 cousins, spend a week at a resort. In the pool, Michelle's father can forget about his diminished leg strength and playfully toss the children around, like the muscular athlete he once was. When some close friends of the Robinsons buy a home in the suburbs, the Robinsons drive down for a visit. Craig quickly makes new friends on the basketball court, but Michelle and her parents find the environment sterile. The other family is light-skinned enough to pass unnoticed in the overwhelmingly white neighborhood. But by the time the Robinsons are ready to head home, someone has put a long scrape in the side of the Buick. Chapter 3. With memories still raw of a neighborhood fire that claimed the lives of 3 children, Fraser Robinson allows Craig to conduct drills on how to get Fraser to safety in the event of an emergency. Realistic about the burdens his illness placed on others, Michelle's father values opportunity to be useful. He serves as a precinct captain for the Democratic Party, and in that capacity regularly makes the rounds of the neighborhood, often with a reluctant Michelle in tow. Doing rounds with her father helps Michelle become more outgoing. Michelle's grandfather, Southside, helps too, by hosting lively family gatherings at his house. He also buys Michelle a dog that stays with him but is officially hers. Michelle's grandfather, Dandy, her father's father, is a more intimidating figure. He shouts a great deal at the television, at adult young men in his neighborhood, and at his wife, LaVon. Michelle is the only one in the family to regularly argue back at Dandy. It bothers her that LaVon, by day a successful bookstore manager, should, at night, meekly submit to being yelled at. Some of Dandy's anger comes from bitterness over unfulfilled dreams of college, and over jobs he was denied at a time when black men were often excluded from labor unions. During a visit at Dandy and LaVon's, one of Michelle's cousins asks why she talks like a white girl. Michelle's parents, and Dandy too, have always insisted that she use proper English and enunciate. Now, her way of speaking and presenting herself is raising suspicions in others. Someday, when her husband is elected president, he will face similar questions. Chapter 4. As better-off families move out of Michelle's neighborhood, her school struggles to maintain instructional quality. Maureen Robinson serves tirelessly on the PTA, raising funds for school equipment, hosting dinners for teachers, and packing the principal's plan to create a multi-grade program for gifted students. When Michelle is placed in the program, she excels. At home, Michelle's mother keeps a clean house, finds budget-conscious way for the family to celebrate Christmas, and wisely let Craig find his own way in a relationship with a girl. Every spring, as Michelle learns years later, Marian entertains thoughts of leaving Fraser, and every spring she puts those thoughts aside. She will stay in the same house another 40 years, long after her husband has passed away. At 14, Michelle is starting to enter womanhood. She spends less time with Southside and more time with 2 sisters who are her best friends together. The 3 of them try on clothes and learn how to appreciate boys and attract their attention. Another friend helps Michelle arrange her first kiss with a boy the friend knows from choir. Michelle also learns that her body can attract unwanted looks and comments from men. Her parents turn the upstairs back porch into an enclosed space and reassign bedrooms so that Craig and Michelle each get a room to themselves. Gradually, Michelle is becoming more and more her own person. Chapter 5. At his parents' insistence, Craig is attending a predominantly white Catholic school with not only a strong basketball program, but a rigorous curriculum. Marian has gone back to work as an executive assistant to help pay for tuition. Meanwhile, Michelle has tested into Whitney Young High School, a new magnet school. 90 minutes away by bus. It serves mostly Black and Hispanic students. Michelle and a few classmates from the South Shore find that at Whitney Young, nobody gets criticized for being smart. Michelle is not among the most gifted students, but she finds that through hard work, she can perform at their level. Some of Michelle's classmates have wealthy parents and are used to foreign travel. Michelle, by contrast, does not bother telling her parents about her French class planned trips to Paris. When they hear about the trip from another parent, they insist that Michelle go. Michelle becomes good friends with Santita Jackson, daughter of the civil rights leader, the Reverend Jesse Jackson. As Michelle and Santita sometimes get caught up in the tumult of Rev. Jackson's public activities, Michelle realizes that life in politics is messy, not neat and predictable the way someone like her would prefer. By the time Michelle is a senior, Craig is playing basketball at Princeton as a starter. To his father's delight, Michelle, who has often happily followed her brother's lead, wants to attend Princeton too. Despite a school counselor's suggestion that Michelle may not be the Princeton material, she gets in, thanks partly to a recommendation letter from an assistant principal whose kids she once babysat. Chapter 6. In August of 1981, Michelle arrives at Princeton with her father and her boyfriend David. He was Michelle's co-worker during a summer job, but although he cares about her, she realizes he's not the man for her. She awkwardly ends the relationship by being too busy for a final goodbye before David and her father leave town. At first, certain aspects of Princeton life baffle Michelle, such as the question, "You roll crew?" Being Craig's younger sister, however, occasionally opens doors for her. She sometimes encounters racism, but the most significant instance is unknown to her at the time. Partway through her freshman year, one of her white roommates moves out. Only years later does Michelle learn that the roommate's mother did not want her daughter rooming with a black girl. The Third Ward Center is a social hub for students of color. Michelle becomes good friends and then roommates with Suzanne, a career-free spirit from Jamaica. Rooming with Suzanne forces Michelle to realize that not everyone values having files alphabetized and clothes folded and put away. One day, this lesson will help her put up with a husband who has the same casual attitude about organizing his belongings. Michelle has a work-study job as the assistant to the TWC director, a black single mother from New York, and often babysits the director's young son. At the director's urging, Michelle starts a small after-school program for children of black Princeton staff. During her regular calls home, Michelle gets updates about aging relatives but never hears anything from her father about his own deteriorating condition. The reality hits home for her when her parents drive to Princeton to watch Craig play a home game and Michelle sees her father in a wheelchair. Chapter 7. Over time, Michelle increasingly feels that she belongs at Princeton as much as anyone. Still, she makes a point of adding South Side when telling people she is from Chicago. Dandy's younger sister, Aunt Sis, lives in Princeton. Occasional dinners at Aunt Sis' place connect Michelle to older roots, Georgetown, South Carolina, where Dandy and Aunt Sis grew up, is surrounded by formal plantations, like those some of Michelle's ancestors worked on as slaves. When Robbie, previously widowed, dies, Michelle's parents inherit the bungalow and become first-time homeowners. Soon after, grandfather Southside dies of lung cancer. Michelle has a boyfriend in Craig's graduating class who is headed for medical school, but first takes a break to try out as a mascot for the Cleveland Browns. This quickly swerve bothers Michelle. A pass follower and a box checker, she already has her sights set on law school. In time, she graduates with a sociology degree, earns her law degree at Harvard, and lands a job with a high-end firm in Chicago. By then, however, she realizes that she has been striving for success in a career she does not enjoy. Her life will soon change, though she has been asked to help mentor a male summer associate, a black Harvard law student with an odd name. Chapter 8. Michelle works on marketing and intellectual property cases. Although she makes good money, she lives with her parents in the old house, taking over the upstairs apartment and paying only nominal rent. The South Shore, while in decline, is not yet greatly affected by the crack epidemic that has already ravaged African American communities in New York and Detroit. The summer associate Barack Obama arrives late on his first day, apologizing. He is tall and thin, but handsome, and has a big smile and a pleasing baritone voice. Although habitually relaxed, he does not enjoy small talk. He soon confirms rumors of his brilliance by writing a 30-page memo that instantly becomes legendary within the firm. He's illogical in only one thing: he smokes. Michelle's parents both smoked and quit only late in life, years after Michelle and Craig had tried in vain to explain how deadly the habit was. Barack's life trajectory has been less linear than Michelle's, which is why he is still in law school despite being 3 years older than she. The son of a black Kenyan father and a white mother from Kansas. He was born and raised in Honolulu, but lived in Indonesia for 4 years. He started college in laid-back Los Angeles before transferring to Columbia. After graduation, he spent 3 years in Chicago as a community organizer. He's now studying law, he says, because he has realized that societal change requires changes at the level of government. Michelle and Barack hit it off from the start. At a firm barbecue, she's impressed by his easy grace on the basketball court. Afterward, when he suggested a stop for ice cream and then asks for a kiss, she willingly leans in. That's a wrap for part 1, Becoming Me. Stay tuned for part 2, Becoming Us. Thanks for watching. It's Jia here. We'll see you next Friday.